that's gonna pray for us today.
This meeting is being recorded.
One of the things that we have done is we've grown to be the premier source, but the type of influential and powerful people and the value that they bring is just uncanny. So I've always said from day one that we're a blessed organization, and the good Lord continues to put his hand on us, continues to guide us, and continues to connect us. So I just want to share a little bit about Danny Coleman, who's going to provide the prayer for us. He has served as a director of procurement for the Baltimore City school systems, with a focus and commitment on eliminating reoccurring unauthorized procurement resulting from the state of Maryland's lack of policy and procedure clarification. Some of his past successes is he provided privatization of the maintenance of the World Trade Centers in Baltimore, Baltimore Institution of Living Wages Standards for Service Workers, developed University of Deaf and Minority Vendor Purchasing Program System, implemented a stockless desktop delivery system, implemented a centralized system of contract administrations for the city of Baltimore. Now, his resume is too long to read in terms of his expertise and his professionalism within procurement. So I just wanted to know the character of an individual that's going to provide the prayer. So Danny, can I turn it over to you, please?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Well, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon.
It is truly my pleasure to be among an esteemed group as yourself. And I just want to take a few minutes to invite the Spirit to come and pour His grace, His mercy, His intellect upon our talents as we've assembled this morning. So if we may, come now, eternal God the Father, we pray. As we submit our spirit to you in this hour, we ask, O Lord, that you would come, abide, and rest rule with us in this hour. Father God, heighten our talents that you have given to us in this moment, that we may pour out our talents among each other. And as those talents are poured out among each other, Father God, allow us to partake of the talents that are laid before us. For Father, you said that iron sharpens iron. So we expect, oh God, that through this experience that we would emerge more enlightened, more excited, more committed for the calling and the fulfillment of the gifts that you've given us. Now we commend our spirit to you. In this moment, that you will complete a perfect work with us. In this hour we pray, oh God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Danny. And I just want to say that Danny is helping us with a whole lot of projects and a lot of initiatives. And one of the things that I always like to say is Danny has become a great friend of mine. So I think that's important. What I'm going to do is share quickly with you a little bit about Collaborative Ventures, who we are, what we do, how we help small businesses. So right now, we have asserted ourselves as the leading business consortium throughout the region. And one of the things that we do is we provide services, technology, and intelligence that help small businesses grow. We are committed to this. So some of the things that we provide is education. We do education in the form of a meeting like this. We do training modules, anything that our group asks us to do, this is what we provide. So this is a sample of how we provide business intelligence. The other thing we provide is business resources. Our strategy is if an organization moves sharp, everything that they need to get off the ground, we have here, whether it's technology, web development, virtual assistants, computerization, everything we have within our group. Now, the next thing that's very important is we have a very distinctive access to capital. Don't raise me money. So, we've really researched, and if you have poor credit, we can get you money. So we have a very distinctive access to capital in a couple of different ways. Now, there's two final things I'm going to mention. And as I always share with people, is that networking is a key component here in Charlotte region. You can come down here and be successful at the location you were at. Come down to Charlotte and not be in a network group or not be brought into opportunity that won't work for you. So we provide networking. We've been around for 15 years. We've worked and collaborated with everybody. So we bring you in using our existing relationship, our 15-year relationship, to bring you in the opportunity because you're new to Charlotte. The final thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to break for lunch, and I'm going to turn it over and we'll introduce our guest speakers, is the final thing that I'm going to mention is we have really laid out what we call our strategic partners. And what we've done is we went to some prestigious groups here, some of the most successful groups. Some of them do the same thing we do. Some of them don't. But we formed an alliance. We formed an agreement. And all we're going to do is help each other. We're going to stop existing in silos. We have a policy in place. We have a point of contacts. We send information. The Charlotte Chamber is one of our strategic partners. So whenever we have an event, we post it on their site. If you're a member of Collaborative Ventures and you have an event, we post it on Collaborative Ventures site and the Chamber site. Okay, and Stand and Deliver site. Okay, so our strategic partners has really proven to be very successful because it's just more tools, more support, more resources for you guys, the members. So with that, I'm gonna have you guys get lunch. And when you come back from lunch, we'll have our first presentation for you. And thank you so much for coming. And you can just go back and help yourself. Who's going?
Oh, good. It's a pleasure to be here and take your time.
Sounds good. And just so you know, I should have told you earlier that we have a lot of people connected remotely. Okay, and so our guest speaker, believe me, talk about one of the most distinguished organizations. And Don Peebles III is the son of Don Peebles, who is one of the most successful real estate investors in the world. And so to say that we're proud to have him here to speak on some of the things is pretty much an understatement. I'm just going to share quickly because they own Legacy. And so today, I'm just going to briefly go over Legacy. It's a privately held nonprofit development, investment, and consulting firm specializing in the acquisition and development of affordable housing. With over 1 million in projects in various stages of the development process, Legacy's mission is to preserve, create, and sustain affordable and workforce homes and provide shelter, security, equity, and opportunity for those who have been historically overlooked and undervalued. As a 100% minority-owned organization, they are uniquely positioned to act as the bridge between these communities and investment capital. Okay. So we all understand now where we are in terms of time, and we need organizations like this to think forward, to understand that we now have to make a difference. And that time really is relevant. We're in a very good time and a very good place. So I'm extremely proud to have Don and his team present for us today. And we're going to do a water cooler chat. Let us arise and build freedom through real estate development. And so we've got Don Peebles III and Jerrod Delaine of Legacy. And I'm going to turn it over to Carlos Davis to go ahead and conduct our water cooler chat.
Oh. Donahue Peebles, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Always good, sir. How are you?
Always good, sir. How are you? Oh, doing just fine, doing just fine. Family, how y'all doing this morning?
Good.
Now I'm gonna tell you. Have you ever heard the term being at the right place, right time? I want you to look around the room. For those of you who are on Zoom, look at your screens. Yes, we had two distinguished people in not only real estate, Jerrod and Donahue. And is it Jerrod or Jerrod? I just want to make sure, Jerrod. I want to make sure I'm saying your name right, sir.
It is Jerrod, brother.
All right, Jerrod, brother. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure, brother. I just wanted to make sure. Of course, I can't miss Donahue's name up. I can't mess his name up at all. So
This is easy.
So family, I want you all to realize, as Jeff said, we are at a right place at a right time. Now, when it comes to being at the right place at the right time, there's a little word that comes along with that. And that word is action. I want everybody to say action. Action. We're going to learn a lot today. We're going to connect with these two amazing brothers and learn about not only what they are doing with their organization is doing, but there's going to be a part for us. There's going to be a part as business owners, as community leaders, as leaders in general, for us to understand what our part is. These two amazing brothers can give us all the opportunity in the world. Mr. Donahue can say, hey, I'm going to build X, Y, and Z here in Charlotte. Jerrod can say, I'm going to give you, ma'am, this opportunity. But if no action is taken, it's all for nothing. So I want everybody to learn. I want everybody to be engaged. And again, Donahue, Jerrod, I want to thank you all for taking time. Jerrod, I want to thank you all. They're taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us this morning. So the first question I want to ask you all is right off the bat, why are you two are very, very busy gentlemen in everything that you do. Why is participating in an event like this so important to the both of you?
First of all, I think it's a great question. Real estate is historically exclusionary. What it's done in the system that's been set up in, I apologize, there's a bit of an echo on our end. Here, you know what I can do? I can solve that for myself. I think I can go ahead and take the headphones out while I'm talking and head back on mute. Make it easy.
We can get an echo also.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can make it easy like this. But real estate's historically exclusionary. It's a system designed oftentimes to keep folks who are economically disenfranchised out. There's high barriers to entry. Many of your first projects won't be able to be financed by the typical institutional players. You'll have to raise money from friends and family. And for big portions of folks who grow up in certain socioeconomic circles and go to certain schools, they don't have friends and family. They don't have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to get their first projects on board. Without events like these, and without organizations like this one, real estate continues to be homogenous, continues to be exclusionary, and ultimately it continues to not benefit our community. So showing up at events like this, before we go, I'll give out my cell phone number and email, is part of our obligation, not just to our company, but to our communities and to ourselves, and to you all, to make sure that not only are we helping you all bring income from the outside, but we're undoing the locks from the inside and providing that access and providing ultimately the knowledge that helps real estate and that helps in particular become a much broader and much more inclusive.
Appreciate it, Donahue. Jerrod.
I'm a big believer in education. Knowledge is power, and we should be sharing that knowledge with each other. Other communities benefit from their generational knowledge, institutional knowledge. We need to create that ecosystem as well. That's why I'm excited to be here.
Well, again, my brothers, we are excited to have you here and to really not only glean from you, but also we glean, from each other. And I honestly believe that's one of the things that's missing, and that's why we're so honored to have you here, because unfortunate as it is, there are brothers like you all that when requested, they don't show up, or there are other people in our community that don't. But that's how we're gonna get ahead. That is how we as a community will strive and build if we have events like these and we have conversations like these. So I'm gonna give this, so this next question, and this is for both of you or just one of you. In you all's opinion, how has the real estate industry changed over the years, and what trends do you see emerging here in the future?
Jerrod, why don't you take that one first, and I'll dive in.
So, let's talk about sectors for a second. I think the office market is really hard right now. Retail is good in certain sectors, hospitality, but housing is important everywhere. So, market rate housing, luxury housing, affordable housing, we don't have enough of it. So if you're looking at a real estate business, they want to keep those factors in mind.
I second Jerrod's perspective. I think as a consequence of COVID, how human beings interact with the real estate environment has changed, particularly with respect to commercial. Office footprints are down in aggregate. Office markets that were formerly seen as bulletproof, like Washington, D.C., saw 20% vacancy rates pre-COVID. And are now, from an economic standpoint, somewhere near 40 to 50 portions of the downtown core. At the same time, you see exacerbated housing affordability shortages in the same markets: New York, San Francisco, Miami, LA, and Boston. Right, along with Washington, D.C., suffer from substantial rent growth that significantly outpaced inflation, right? And I think more meaningfully, significantly outpaced wage growth. And so cities are faced with problems, right? In the late 70s, early 80s, and through the odds, the question was about how can we bring high-income earners into the suburbs, into the municipal core? How can we shore up our tax base, create jobs, and recurring revenue? They're faced with an opposite problem, right? It's the companies that formed our economic base have left in large part. How can we keep them here? And how can we keep the economic drivers, the bodies that they brought into these particular neighborhoods and submarkets here? And the people that live here have moved here in such overwhelming, or moved here with such overwhelming pace that our supply hasn't been able to catch up. And how can we make housing more affordable? And I think housing affordability metrics like low-income tax credit and a variety of gap financing mechanisms that cities like Charlotte, more meaningfully cities like North Charlotte, have implemented go part of the way. But the other part of the way is going to end up being resolving some of these zoning challenges, removing what we consider artificial supply, consider years-long pre-development processes that center around community input and historic preservation. When the truth is, we're in crisis. There are too many people who want to live in urban cores relative to urban rural apartments. And as a consequence, prices are going up. Unless we find a way to build more apartments and build them quickly, living in an urban environment with all of the attendant opportunities that urban living has, right, from educational, et cetera, will be only available to those in a certain socioeconomic strata. Oh man, Jerrod, looks like I bored the group to death. They just left.
Cancel.
Yeah, that's it. They said, all right, he's at socioeconomic strata, we're kicking him off the Zoom. No, look, I think that that ultimately, you know, the real estate environment post GFC has become a lot more institutional as well, right? Post financial crisis, the reforms that you know we've enacted in order to prevent some of the subprime lending and sort of high volatility commercial real estate loans that caused the crisis. You know, they've prevented a lot of smaller sponsors from getting in the game. Now leverage requirements are lower, or leverage maximums are lower. Net worth and liquidity requirements are higher. Track records need to be much more substantial in order for even regional banks to take risks on local developers. And what you've got is a real estate industry that, in order to insulate itself from sort of, you know, broader systemic banking issues, has made itself even harder to break into. You think about what my father had to do in the early 1980s to get his first construction loan, which was to today's equivalent of 40 million bucks. He never would have qualified today. And he certainly would never have been able to get 80% LTC loan to cost financing at that time. So, you know, when you think about, there's certainly changes in asset classes, but there's also changes with respect to structuring of transactions that's made it really, really hard for entrepreneurs to get their foot in the door. I think he's talking, but I think he's on mute. So
You're muted.
I think you hit it twice. You unmuted.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Y'all hear me? Cool. All right. Jerrod and Donahue, you know, thank you for that insight, because again, there's a lot in that space that there's a lot of complexity in the space, and it has been one of those spaces to where it's kind of like, it's hard to get to, it's hard to touch. But as you all have stated, there has been a closing of the gap, so to speak, to where folks can have access, and it's really awesome that you all are doing what you all are doing in the affordable housing space in different spaces to help make things more achievable. The next question I had, and I think the room as well as those who are on the Zoom will really appreciate this question. So for you guys, what opportunities do you think entrepreneurs here, the entrepreneurs on the Zoom, what are the opportunities that they can take advantage of here in this market? From all the things that you all are doing here and the development that you all are doing, what are some opportunities that we can take advantage of?
I can go first, Donahue.
Oh, please take it.
You know, Charlotte is in a well-educated location. In particular, you have a number of HBCUs. So you have a very solid Black middle class. I think that's an advantage that not every market has. As well as just the overall market is relatively healthy. You know, for better or for worse, you guys snapped back out of COVID much quicker than we did in New York. So your economy has been actually quite normal for some time, versus cities like New York. You know, we still are not where we were in 2019, 2018. So I think you guys are a bit ahead of the curve. You guys should leverage that advantage that you have, that things are normal. And now that you can work and communicate anywhere, you could actually attract people who maybe work somewhere else, but can enjoy the Charlotte quality of life, the better weather, that you could actually attract the best and brightest. You know, Atlanta has been reaping the benefit of that. Austin's been reaping the benefit of that. I think Charlotte very much is in that same light on great middle market cities, excellent access to, you know, airport travel. So it's business friendly in ways that cities like Montgomery isn't as much. I think Charlotte has a bit of an advantage with that, right? That you're close to DC, you're close to Atlanta, right? You're kind of in the mix, you're not off the grid. You know, South Florida is kind of its own space down there with Donahue. I think Charlotte very much is, right? You're easily to Louisville, Kentucky, right? You're easily to Birmingham, like you're kind of in connection with other business clusters, Charlotte has that bit of an advantage. So for entrepreneurs there, you can leverage the fact that you have so many business markets that are a very short arm reach away. So I think that's an advantage that Charlotte has, and that entrepreneurs have in the Charlotte market.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. You know, I know you referenced work we're doing there. We've got 18 acres in Uptown Charlotte. We're developing several million square feet within the 277 loop, and sort of love infill development in Charlotte. I think the scale of those deals skews very institutional. You know, those are deals where, you know, the smallest project that we're coming out of the ground with is probably 220 million or so in total cost. You know, the equity check for something like that's close to 80 million bucks, right? They're expensive projects, and ultimately, right, as you're sort of beginning your career, sort of your development journey, those sort of, you know, type 1 construction infill developments, you know, are probably not immediately within the realm of possibility, though there are, you know, certain opportunities maybe where it makes sense. Where I'd suggest folks focus or spend their time is in two spaces, right? In two spaces where it benefits to be hyper local, and candidly where it benefits to be a minority, right? The first one is affordable housing. Charlotte has a burgeoning affordable housing industry, right? In large part because affordable housing hasn't historically been a problem in Charlotte the way it has in more developed affordable housing markets like New York and DC. And so there aren't, you know, there are some, but there aren't meaningful established players. And with respect to affordable housing, you're able to do deals with very little equity and receive outsized return. That's a product of a number of the relatively complicated financing strategies that you can pursue with affordable housing, and the preponderance of nonprofits that provide pre-development facilities that are otherwise outside of the lending purview of your typical commercial banks. Leveraging those resources and pursuing affordable housing development within Charlotte is a great place to find yourself, because it's a need that will only grow. The second piece is with respect to zoning and entitlement processes. You know, in large part, larger institutional developers don't have the granular interest or the technical wherewithal to navigate through a complex entitlement process. And there are circumstances, particularly in rapidly growing infill markets like Charlotte, where you're able to acquire land at a basis that's reflective of its existing density, and pursue a re-entitlement strategy that allows you to increase the density 2 or 3x and create substantial land value. That step up can you know, or that difference in your acquisition price and your land value can serve as your capital account and can be substituted in large part as equity as you pursue the vertical development of an asset. Right, that's where you can incur risk that other larger players aren't going to be interested in incurring, and be rewarded for it with limited capital outlay. Oftentimes, zoning and entitlement strategies where you're increasing density rely much more on subjective analysis from reviewers with whom you can build a relationship, and more importantly, with subjective, you know, we'll say, subjective perspectives from elected officials who can support your rezoning, provided that it achieves certain policy objectives for them that they believe are in the best interest of the city or the county. So, you know, I'd say focus in my mind on sort of those two strategies because they're not capital intensive, right? And because in large part they're immediately actionable.
Awesome. And I'm appreciate that, you know, those insights, because again, you know, this is a community effort. Where if we better, you know, you all have been doing this for a long time, the better we understand where we need to be of assistance in these efforts, it just, again, it makes our community better. It makes opportunities for ourselves better. And again, we do appreciate you all's time. I do have to ask you, Donahue and Jerrod, are you all open to any Q&A from either the live audience or the virtual audience?
Good with it.
Okay. All right. So what I want everybody to do, we only have I'm going to ask one more question. Then I'm gonna try to open up to maybe one or two questions, one from the live audience and one from the virtual audience. So go ahead. I'm gonna give you all time to prepare your questions. And we'll do our best to get those in. Now, I will tell you all, for those of you all who don't know me, you know, my thing is networking. You know, that's my area of expertise. I love events like these. We host events, you know, around this area and around the region. I have to ask you, Donahue and Jerrod, how important is networking in the real estate development business, and what are some strategies that entrepreneurs can use to build these relationships with industry professionals and experts like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, real estate, for better or for worse, is a social business. You're gonna meet a lot of people. You're gonna have a lot of relationships with builders, designers, architects, investors, lenders, tenants, business partners. You know, so working on your social skills and in particular your emotional intelligence will help you be successful in working with a lot of different individuals to accomplish these wonderful goals that you're aspiring to do. So practice at it. And nobody is excellent, like born like this. Like, it is a skill that you work at over time on how to talk to people, how to work with people, how to work with people who don't have the same drive as you, how to work with people who have a different vision or a different win outcome that they're aiming for. How do you still accomplish your goal in spite of these factors? You know, if you can figure out how to do that, you know, you'll be successful in the real estate business.
Yeah, and that's something that Jerrod, man, he's incredible at, right? Jerrod's network, both nationally and then locally in New York City, is extensive. He's built relationships kind of, you know, up and across the spectrum, from every service provider, every financial institution, you know, and sort of up and down sort of their chain of command, right? The sort of depth of the relationships that he's been able to build, you know, across the real estate industry is impressive. I benefit from a last name that gets me in a lot of doors. I think that you know, it's real easy from my perspective to network and meet people, and using a lot of the alumni groups that I'm a part of, and sort of reaching out within that has been, you know, it is buoyed kind of that process. What I'd say is really, really helpful when folks are approaching us, because that's something that happens to Jerrod and I relatively often now, with opportunities and with deals, is that when you have kind of that initial meeting, that you show up prepared, and focused on the transaction. Very, very often people schedule time with us with an opportunity that they can't appropriately articulate or they haven't well thought through. And that's a great way to undermine a relationship. You know, because it's a social business, you know, we're on the phone all the time. We're going to make ourselves accessible all the time. I'm actually going to put my email before I hop off and my cell phone in the chat. Shoot me a note, shoot me a text, right? The goal is, you know, for us to be easy to reach. But the truth is, you know, it's first impressions matter. And to the extent that you have an opportunity to meet with a capital provider, you always want to put your best foot forward.
Love that. And I will second and third, you know, what they're saying, you know, as someone that again teaches and does events like these, what they say is true, especially in their realm of what they do. So I thank you guys for that bit of information. All right, so I'm going to start with here in the room. Who has a question? Your hand was up, sir, and I'll give them the question.
Okay, my question is, are there challenges with labor and the quality of labor in the industry, and what role do they see related to workforce development?
Are there challenges with labor and quality of labor as well as workforce development within the industry?
I guess let me divide that into two parts. So there's construction, which I believe is the first part he's talking about. Yeah, there's been kind of nationwide a bit of a shortage on skilled labor. So projects are taking longer to get built. Materials more expensive. The lead times are longer. So I think that's kind of a global issue that the building industry is dealing with. Unfortunately, there's not enough diverse subs. So one of the issues is you want to have as many diverse participants as possible on the project, but it actually takes a bit more work. And especially in affordable housing, you got like a specific clock that you may not be able to accomplish as much as you'd like to. So it takes work, it takes effort. And for your general contractor, you're kind of giving them extra work, and many of them don't want to do extra work. They're like, yeah, I just want to use my same concrete guy. I want to use my same steel guy. You're like, no. I want you to use a diverse one. You need to work. You need to go find one. You got to go source them. You got to check the references, right? That's more work for them. So there's this delicate dance of, them giving you the same price, but them doing a little bit more work, a little more leg work to accomplish the task. And I think separate from that, on the professional level, which Donahue knows I spend a lot of my time on, managing all the professional individuals, that is some effort. And I'm a pretty driven guy. It's taken me a while, and I said emotional intelligence earlier. It's taken me a little while to learn that everybody doesn't work like me. So then how do you help motivate other team members to achieve their best goal, in the manner in which they receive it, right? Some work by the stick, some work by the honey. And how do you approach everybody differently to accomplish, which is ultimately the project getting built, the project being successful. So I think that's an ongoing task that, management, as I said earlier, management is not easy. Like, it is a learned skill that you need to practice at.
Donahue, do you have anything to add, sir?
Oh man, I think Jerrod did an excellent job answering that question.
Good stuff. All right, so for those of you on the Zoom,
Can you get a response on the workforce development piece? How important is that?
I'm happy to speak on workforce development. Look, I think certainly workforce development is important. Particularly in municipalities that have local hiring goals for their affordable housing projects or their public-private projects. City to city, I think you see different quality of subcontractors with respect to in different quality of trades. Ultimately, when we think of workforce development, in our mind, we're thinking of achieving our local hiring goals and delivering, a discrete public benefit to the municipality. Of course, it's important and it's meaningful. It's something that we're less on the front lines with, where we sort of manage the general contractor and certainly some of the major subs. We're much more focused on the quality of the labor force and ensuring timely and effective completion of the assets. There are cities like Miami that have a consistently shallow subcontractor pool for a number of major trades, and with all the building going on, workforce development is a meaningful part of managing your risk in a transaction. You're either paying an exorbitant fee to a sub, you can do the job well, or you're paying something closer to market and incurring some performance risk alongside a subcontractor that doesn't necessarily have access to a talented labor pool. We want to be a part of that changing. And in cities where it's a fetter to growth, it's certainly something that we're tracking and we're cognizant of as we underwrite and evaluate transactions.
All right.
I want to connect that to a question you asked
Go ahead,
earlier,
Jerrod.
which is an opportunity for entrepreneurs. This is an unmet need in a lot of cities on local hiring and diverse contractors, diverse subcontractors. This is an unmet need in many markets. So that is an opportunity to fill that space. Vendors, suppliers, the space is open. It's just not a lot of us showing up. So I think that's a big growth space that you can really come in and fill a void.
I want to piggyback, and thank you for that, Jerrod. Piggyback on something in addition to that. How many of you all have a minority certification? If you have a minority business certification, raise your hand. So in the room, we only have 4, including myself. I do and I do DVE. And for those of you who are on virtually, if you can put in the chat that you have one, but for all of us to be in this room, to his point, there's a lot of opportunity out there. They will both tell you, especially in the real estate space. I can tell you from the government space and working with the Department of Transportation here and in other states, they can't get us. They can't get enough of us. They can't get enough welders. They can't get enough subcontractors.
Exactly.
They will even tell you there are tons of opportunities to where the government will be like, okay, do you have the certification? Yes. All right, here, go weld this for this company. Hey, work with their organization to build this property, because they get benefit from that. But if we're not certified, we can't get these opportunities. I can't tell you how many times people have asked me, well, how in the world are you working with the DOT? Because I'm certified. And that was the only way. I knew 3 and 4 people within the DOT, but it wasn't until I got the certification that they were able to say, okay, Carlos, come do this project for us. And that is, to Jerrod's point, making sure that there are a lot of opportunities out there, but we also have to be prepared. We have to prepare ourselves for those opportunities. So I mean, Carlos,
to your point, some veterans are certified, but I'm also first couple.
Yeah.
You can imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. For them to select.
Exactly. All right. Anybody on the virtual, on the Zoom, have a question for Donahue and Jerrod before we wrap up? Because I know they have a very busy schedule ahead of them. All right. So to sum up, so before we break, Donahue, Jerrod, thank you so much for your time. Are there any last comments, strategies, words of wisdom for those of us here in the room as well as on the Zoom?
Oh man, well look, I think first, very much appreciate the opportunity to come and chat. I wish I could be there in person. It's organizations like these that hopefully develop the next crop of real estate entrepreneurs. Please don't hesitate to reach out. My cell phone and my email are in the chat. Would love to get to know and meet you all, and see if there's business to be done together. Ultimately, this is a who you know business much more than it is a what you know business. And would love to find a way to collaborate and hopefully make some money together. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. Happy to answer additional questions. I apologize that at least on my end I've got to run. But thanks so much for having me.
Jerrod?
Parting words, keep going, guys. I think focusing on your network, focusing on your knowledge, wisdom, I jokingly tell folks, like, my school helped get me into the room, but I still got to hit the shot. So focusing on being prepared, right? You're going to be that minority contractor. Well, when you get on the job, be amazing. Don't be good. Don't be average. Be amazing, so that you get the next job and the next job. Because you never know who's going to see your work, who's going to give you effort, who's going to give you a reference to the next job. So every room you're in, be amazing. That would be my parting words.
And we will drop the mic on that one. Everyone on the chat and in the room, let's give Donahue and Jerrod a huge round of applause. My brothers, I know you got to run, but thank you all again so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules on behalf of this group, the city of Charlotte, the state of North Carolina. We thank you for what you're doing here in the community, but most importantly, thank you for just taking time out of your busy schedule to enlighten us and to educate us. And we all, myself included, are looking forward to doing business with you all and working together to continue to grow this culture and to continue just to grow business and opportunity for our communities. But thank you guys so very much Mr. Jeff Green, I'll turn it back over to you,
Thank
sir.
you so much. Thanks so much, Carlos. Thank you, guys. And wow, unbelievable. It's just amazing to have him here present to us. And we all know that there's so many opportunities here within the Charlotte region. I know personally that I'm going to connect with them on several of the members, several of the people online because of the major projects that we have going on. So timing is everything, and unbelievable. So Yvonne, do we have to switch computers for Anthony? For Anthony, do you guys need anything?
No.
Okay, our next guest speaker is Anthony Hill. And you want to talk about excitement? He's the owner of the Charlotte Purple Jackets, the new basketball team here in town. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't remember not being in the gym. Okay, this team is awesome. You know, I don't care what school of thought you come from. If you guys go and see this team play, you will be amazed. I'm talking about ball is moved, the effort on defense, the discipline within the players. You don't see no player going crying to the referee. The leadership on the teams, believe me, I was impressed. So, I mean, it's an honor that, you know, we have a new basketball team here in town. I'm not going to steal any of Anthony's thunder, but one of the main reasons that we partnered with him is because they go to the community. You know, as soon as I talked to him, I was so impressed with what they do in the community, how they teach the guys on the team financial literacy, the whole 9 yards, how he's been so receptive to come into these schools, to provide clinics, scrimmages for the teams and what have you. So it's an honor for me to form this strategic partnership with the Charlotte Purple Jackets, new basketball team here. And it's an honor for me to have Anthony tell you a little bit about what they have going on.
Thank you, Mr. Green. It's been an absolute blessing. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come speak today and tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Charlotte. It is really, really an exciting new venture. Many times, most of our children relate to each other through sports. I'm sure there are many parents in here whose kids play sports at different levels, and most of us connect through sports. And so what I was able to do a few years ago was get into the third largest professional basketball league in the United States of America. It is now a connection to the NBA and the G League. About 3 years ago, my son was in high school playing basketball, and of course he had dreams of playing in college and the NBA, and I had to give him a reality check that not necessarily less than 1% of our kids who play high school basketball get an opportunity not only to play in the NBA, but less than 1% get an opportunity to get a Division I scholarship. So when you see the UConns and the Dukes and the North Carolinas on TV, that's less than 1% of the kids who are going to play high school basketball in this country, whether it's men or female, male or female. But this league is connected to the G League. It's connected to the NBA. And there are 49 teams in the league across the United States of America, including 4 in Canada. I got involved for twofold. One is because I'm a fan of basketball. I was one of the 1% who got an opportunity to play in college. But more importantly than that, I wanted to show my son that being involved in basketball was more than just playing. It was absolutely more than just playing. If you look at the NBA, there's one minority owner in the entire NBA. That's Mr. Jerrod here in Charlotte, and he's getting ready to sell his team. So you'll have no black ownership in the NBA when 70% of the players are black. You have no black ownership in the NFL when 68% of the players in the NFL are black. No one looks like us that are making the decisions that we need to make for our kids. So when I got involved with this league, it was a commitment to our players, it was a commitment to my staff, it was a commitment to the community that I was involved in. I grew up in Connecticut. I was there for a couple of years with the team. I had the opportunity to move to Charlotte last summer and bring my team here. So this is the first year we're playing in Charlotte. And it has been an absolute blessing to be here in Charlotte and show our young people. But the Purple Jackets for us has been more than just basketball. We try to provide a quality version of basketball on the court, and we try to win a lot of games. As I said, we're in the Southeast Division, so we play against Raleigh, we play against a team in Fayetteville, we play against a team in Orlando, Florida, and we're up and down the Southeast Seaboard, the Southeast landscape. But what we're trying to do in Charlotte is build more than just a basketball team. So our kids have a financial literacy class that they have to attend once a week. It is mandatory. They get compensated for being a part of it as they grow in the financial literacy program, but it is part of what they do in terms of their contracts. So we're teaching them about budgeting, we're teaching them about credit, we're teaching them about all aspects of growing up as young men. And I say young men, but we also have a dance team that's a part of our organization with 21 amazing young women who are part of our organization. So between the young women and the young men, I have about 40 active people under that group. And so we do financial literacy. We also do community in each one of their contracts, because they're contracted and they're paid. These are paid players. So they're contracted, and in their contracts, they have a mandatory 6 community service events that they have to do per year. So every Monday, we're at the Harvest Center doing giving back to the homeless, feeding the homeless. We've just done a coat drive in Charlotte where we got a bunch of supplies and gave it to the men's shelter. Tonight we have a game here in Charlotte, and the theme of tonight is kidney. We're giving back to the Kidney Foundation of Charlotte. My mom passed away from kidney failure a year ago, so it was really important for me to give back to the Kidney Foundation of Charlotte. Coming up, we do all kinds of mentorships in schools. We do, Mr. Green talked about some of the things we do. Our kids go into schools. We just did a partnership with Eastway Middle School where we do, our kids go in and do tutoring, they do mentorship, they work with these young men, and then we invite them all out to a game and give them an opportunity to come sit at a game and watch us play. Tonight we're at Garinger School. One of my things about Charlotte is I'm trying to put the product in all of Charlotte. So I don't lock into just one particular school or high school and say we're going to stay in this side of town for the entire season. We're moving, and it's tough when you're building a fan base because you don't have a loyal place, but it was important for me for all of Charlotte to be inclusive in what we're doing with this basketball team. So tonight we're at Garinger. Again, we met with their students. We did a mentorship program with their students. We're doing a basketball clinic with their students, and then we invite them to come to the game. We just did something at Curry Court where we had 122 kids come out for free, and we do it all for free. So it's more than just basketball. And then what's really, really important for me is that it's an affordable experience for families. Our tickets are $10, and kids get in for free 12 and under. So many of you know, trying to go to a Charlotte Hornets game could be expensive for a family of 4, between the tickets, parking, food, everything that goes along with going to a Hornets game. It could be expensive. You can have that same family-like venture. We have a DJ, our dance team is great, we have halftime performers, we have giveaways, shooting contests. It's a lot of fun coming to one of our games, but you can do that for $20 or $30 for a family of 4 and have a really, really good experience. And my staff gets on me all the time, and I probably give away more tickets than I actually sell. People call me all the time. I'm like, yo, just come. I'll put you on the list, and you guys can come. So I appreciate Mr. Green. I appreciate Ms. Yvonne. They have been blessings and welcoming me and my team here in Charlotte. I would love to partner with everybody in the room and be creative in ideas that we can build this thing out, because it can be ours. It is a family. Like I said, it's for our kids. It's for our family. It's not just about my guys playing basketball. I think that's low-hanging fruit to roll out a basketball and just ask them to come play basketball. I make it mandatory that it's part of what they do. They're in these communities. They're giving back. We check their social media. We follow them on in all aspects of life. We talk to them about more than just basketball. We have a team chaplain, who meets with them regularly to talk about things off the court. We have a licensed psychologist as part of our staff who works with their mental acuity, and we, like I said, we're trying to make complete young men and women. So, you know, if they're going through something at home in their relationships or in life in general, we have the resources that we try to provide for them so that we can talk to them. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
My wife and I were there the day we honored Jeff Green.
Yes, sir.
One of the players, I don't know how it happened, one of the players accidentally bumped into my wife while she was going to the bathroom. My wife told me the story that he apologized after the game to her. So whatever you're doing works, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
So two things. I applaud you. I ain't made it up to your level. I was one of those that tried to get that Division I scholarship, didn't make it that far. But I want to applaud you for the way that you're doing this and having this league run, because a lot in the works that I've been doing with name, image, and likeness and a lot of these things, a lot of young men and even young women now, depending on the sport that they play, they kind of get lost.
Yes.
So I applaud you for not having these young men get lost.
Yes.
I want to offer to you, and I don't know if Jeff told you about what we do, but we're doing a very similar event next Thursday. If you want to come and
absolutely
what we're doing, what you're doing to that group, to the event we have next Thursday, you're more than welcome to come. But also, I sit on the board of one of the YMCA's here in Charlotte. I would love to connect you guys to not only our branch, but also Corey, West Boulevard, as well as YMCA here in Charlotte, to see what possible opportunities would be for you guys, not just from a community aspect, but just maybe a partnership aspect.
Absolutely, we love that, because we do have 4 young men who are here from out of town. We have 1 guy from Virginia, 1 kid from Miami. So we do bring players from out of town. We provide them housing, we provide them meals. We travel to Georgia tomorrow for our away game, and you know, we feed them on the bus and we feed them after the game. So it is, as you guys spoke of, it is a complete lifestyle overhaul when they get here. And we hope that when it's over, some of these young men get an opportunity to go play basketball at a real level where they can make some real money. We just had a young man just this past Monday, get signed to go to Mexico. So his mom called me and she's, you know, in tears because he came down from Queens, New York with no opportunity. And now in less than a month, he's on his way to Mexico to go play for a contract that he can take care of his family. And so that's what we're trying to give these young men in Charlotte an opportunity. We have a bunch of local guys who are playing with us, and we promote them. We promote them on our social media. We promote them at the games and everything. We're trying to build young black men and young black women. And I include my dance team in everything that we do, because these young women are amazing. They're coming out and they're working just as hard as these boys. They're providing a quality entertainment at the games. They're trying to get to the next level where maybe they can be a part of the Panthers or the Hornets in some capacity as entertainment. We have kids groups that come in and perform. So we're a team that's about building family. They'll tell you, if you talk to them, that I'm always preaching family. And so I'm really hard on them sometimes. But, you know, one thing they know is my phone is always on 24 hours a day for them. And if they need something, they call me. I let them stay at my house sometimes. We have game night, and I'll go up to where they are, and we'll all sit down and eat. But I would love for all of you to come out to a game, or if you're free tonight for an hour or two, just to stop by and come see us play and come see the product and what these young men and young women are about. I call them kids, but you know, they get on me about that. But they're all like my little brothers and little sisters. I'm sorry.
So a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Forgive my curiosity, but I'm a business trainer and coach. One of the first things that I do is help people understand that they need an exit strategy. So I'd love to hear about your exit strategy. But even before we get to the exit strategy, I'd love to hear about your business model and how in the world you're making money with the product. Just high level, you don't have to give me all the details. And you talked about opportunities for minorities in the game. And so it sounds as though this could be something that the African-American community can get behind to help to grow. But obviously your marketing and getting it out there and doing events like this is the key.
Yes, sir.
Right? Galvanizing communities to support you. So if you tell me more about that, that's the direction I'm going. I'm not trying to get in your business.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely not.
And then the other question is, did you play for UConn?
I did not play for UConn, but I'm from Connecticut. I did not play for. I actually played for Park Atlanta. I'm HBCU.
Okay. All right.
So part one of your question, it's an opportunity league for everyone. So our team president is the only female team president in the entire league. A young lady named India, who Mrs. Green and Mrs. Vaughn have met. She's an amazing young woman. She's originally from Charlotte, grew up here, played in Charlotte, went to UNC Greensboro, got her master's from Syracuse, and she's one of the brightest young women I've ever met. But now, for her, the opportunity now is in a year or two, with this on her resume, she now goes and works for the Hornets. She becomes the president of the Hornets, the president of another NBA team or an NFL franchise. So what I'm doing when I develop my staff is tell them, hey guys, I'm not here to keep you. I sign them all to one-year contracts. I sign all my players to one-year contracts because I'm not here to keep you. I'm hoping that we shine and you guys get an opportunity to go somewhere else, and then you just wave or send me tickets when you get there. That's kind of what our business model is. In terms of what we do financially, I'm being 1,000% transparent. A lot of it comes out of my own pocket, out of my own personal pocket. Just paying for buses and paying for food and paying for gym time and paying for gym space. And I do it because I believe in it. I do it because I believe in what we're doing. Could we use $500 here, $1,000 there to help us? Absolutely. Every little bit counts and goes toward, but every dollar that we do get and every dollar that we do spend goes directly back to these young men and young women. I've been doing this now for 3 years. There's been no profit in it. The profit for me, you talk the long-term goals is, and Mr. Green and I have talked about this, in 3 years, I'm hoping to bring the WNBA back to Charlotte as the owner of the WNBA. I'm trying to build relationships with the Hornets now that in 3 years, I'll be in a position where I can help bring professional basketball from that level back here. But in the meantime, this league is growing. It grew 64% from last year. In terms of where it is, it's starting to get corporate sponsorships. The NBA, like I said, is partnering with us and taking notice. So it's an opportunity from a business standpoint to continue to grow in a couple of years. But right now, it's just a day-to-day. It's just putting out fires day-to-day and trying to build it. But like I said before, I really believe in what we're doing. I have passion for what we're doing. I have passion for these young people. And, it feels good to sit down with them and talk to them about more than just basketball. Some of them have already inquired about, hey, when I finish playing, can you show me how to own a team? What it looks like to put together a business plan and walk through and walk through what that looks like. So that's why I do it, And my mom's super proud. So
Appreciate that. Thank you.
thank you. Yes, ma'am.
How can we donate?
Several ways. Obviously, all the traditional, Cash App, Venmo, all that other stuff. We do have a tax. We're both profit and nonprofit. So we have a profit piece, but we have a 501c3. We have a tax ID number that we can send you a contact and send you our tax ID number so that you can reimburse yourself at the end of the year. And
I was gonna say too, we said, thank you. And this,
$500. We have partnerships that range all the way up to 10,000. We are allowed, like the NBA, to put patches on forms. So we have a television network. The league has a television network just like the NBA. So all our games are televised to 147 countries and all over the United States of America. So if you had your logo on our uniform, it is almost free promotion because it's online. All our games are online, going all over the world to be promoted. So we do have the media package. again, we tickets, banners in the gym, promotion on our social platforms, our website, our social media platforms. So if any businesses are interested, there's great. And then I'm always looking for partnerships in terms of ownership. If anybody wants to walk in and say, because I just feel like even in our league, only 13% of our league are Black owners. And none of them on the East Coast, all of them out Midwest, upper Midwest, going out to the West. So I'm always open to having conversations about how I can partner with ownership groups and come in and help build this, because I really believe in what this could be in Charlotte. And right now, we're the only thing winning in Charlotte. So we're super happy about that. Super happy about that. You know, the Panthers struggle, the Hornets are struggling, so you know, the Purple Jackets are gonna try to represent for the city. So we're really excited about that. Yes, we're trying to. We try everywhere we go, we represent that purple. So we're trying to. Anything else? Any questions? Guys, again, please, before you leave, if you want to give me your name and your email, you guys are more than welcome to come to the game tonight. Also, we play every weekend. We practice every Tuesday and Thursday, then our games on the weekends. We'll play one game at home, one game away every weekend. So at any point during the season, if you guys want to come to a game, bring your families, bring any kids, you know, just please let me know, or hit our Instagram page. That goes directly to our team president, and she'll let me know. And you guys absolutely can come to a game for free. I would love to get everybody out to see it.
What's the calendar for your season?
Our season started at the beginning of March. It runs until Memorial Day, and then the playoffs start in June. So our season is kind of over sometime end of June. So we still have about 9-10 weeks of basketball to play. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a team that this is Green Soul. We have a team that can potentially win the championship. Okay. We're I'm not just bragging. We're really good. We're really good. We have a really good team. But again, I would love for all you guys to come out. Just text me, call me, just send us an email, and tickets be left for you at the door with your families. Please come out and support it. It means more to those kids, just to see those stands full and people in there cheering, and you know. And again, it's a good time. And the last thing I'm going to say is, what makes this unique is, again, our players, my staff, myself, our entire organization is accessible. You go to a Hornets game, you're not shaking, you know, anybody's hand after the end of the game. You're not going to sit there and do autographs, take pictures, and all that. There's no better feeling to watch a young girl who's 7, 8 years old, who's watched my dance team, and now she wants to hug the entire dance team and be a part of it. And we invite her to practice and go see them play. Nothing more than seeing a young man who's 10 years old who sees these guys play, and then after the game gets a chance to hug one of them and shake their hand, and be a part of that. So again, your support at the games is just as important as anything else for these young people. Because they mean the world to me. So thank you guys so much for having me. I'm sorry, yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I didn't thought of that. I do have to say that we were actually at the game, and it was at the Courage, and you feel the love from the team and staff when you first come in and when you leave. It's actually pretty awesome going to what you said about it being for your folks and shaking hands and things like that.
Yes.
From the second we walked in and Hayes and shaking hands and laughing.
Cheerleaders in the hall.
Shaking us right on out the door.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great experience.
And we have vendors. We have vendor opportunities. We allow vendors to come to our games. We don't take anything from them. I think they pay $100 vendor fee we charge them. And then if they make $10,000, they get to keep it all. We want to support our community. We want to give back to our people who look like us. And so, again, it's not to the Hornets level yet, but hopefully with the community and everybody behind us, we'll all get there together. And that's my dream. That's what I'm pushing for. So again, thank you guys so much for listening to me. Thank you guys so much for having me. Collaborative Ventures, you guys are amazing. You guys have my heart. And again, hope you guys all come out to a Purple Jacket game for the season. Thank you.
So I was going to say, what a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Anthony, Carlos, and to our special guests. What an excellent meeting. And thank you guys for coming and showing out. You can feel Anthony's pride for his team. That's the same way we are with Collaborative Ventures and the people that we touch and the membership that we have. So expect a thank you from us. We hope to see you at more soon.